Thanks so much for joining me. I'm really excited to share with you tips to grow your business online with free Google tools. I'm going to be joined shortly by Kirsten and I think by Brie as well. So if you're watching this replay later, just skip ahead a minute or two for the good stuff to get started. And hi to those that are just joining. I'm going to invite my co-host now, and then we will let you know how to grow your business. Let's see. Invite. How do I get my co-hosts here? Hi to those that are joining. I'm just getting my guests to join me here, and then we will share with you today how to grow your business online. We're really excited about it. Let's see. Live. Got to sort out the logistics when one of these lives starts, right? So in the meantime, if you have any questions at all about growing your business, please let me know. And in a moment, Kirsten will be here, and I think Brie is joining us as well. We are going to be covering 4 Google tools today. Here she is. 3, 2, 1.
Why, hello. We have this is the same before. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing? And hi to Samila Coffee Roasters. Nice to see you. Hi, Devin. Thank you for the follow. Kirsten, I don't see your face yet, but I see that you are here.
Trying. I just keep getting stickers. So we're working through this.
So hi to those that are joining us here today. I'm Jyll and Kirsten is Organically Digital, and we are going to be sharing our top tips for growing your business with free Google tools. If you have any questions at all, please drop them into the chat for us. And if you're enjoying the live, give us some double taps, which will tell TikTok to send more people here to watch us today. And if you're watching this replay on YouTube later, we are about to get started because there's Kirsten.
Here I am. Luckily, I am not the TikToker.
Wonderful.
Here, I don't work here.
Quite all right. Well, I'm so glad you could join me here today so we can share our best tips with folks for growing their businesses on Google. I know there's 4 key Google tools we want to talk about today, but of course, we are open to your questions as well. So please drop a comment to let us know what you would like to know. I'm going to kick us off first with one of my free Google tools that I think is so underutilized. And after that, I'll kick it over to you, Kirsten. So one of the first Google tools I want to share with you is Google Merchant Center. Now, this is specifically for businesses that sell products. It is not for services business, but it does work for digital products. And Google Merchant Center is the part of Google that lets you share your product information with Google so that your products can show up in Google search results for free. If you have a store, it lets Google know about your store inventory so that when people are searching, it can direct them to your physical store or your online store. And if you use WooCommerce or Shopify or PrestaShop now, it's super easy to set up. So I highly suggest you check out Google Merchant Center. And then once you do, I'm actually going to see if I can flip my camera around. No, I'm not that fancy, so never mind. But if you have specific questions about Google Merchant Center and how that works, let us know. And of course, it is completely free to set up and free to get your product showing on Google. So that is my first Google tool I love. What about you, Kirsten? What's a Google tool that you love for business owners?
And I have to say first, don't they there have 2 feeds? One is for local businesses so that your products can show up in the local feed of like Google Business Profile, and then one for the Google. Why, hello.
That is right. And Brie is here too. Welcome, Brie. We're
Hello,
just
friends.
talking a bit about Google Merchant Center. And so Kirsten asked, do you have 2 feeds? And that is correct that you do. A feed is just a bunch of gibberish that Google understands and mere mortals don't, that lets Google know about your products. And so you will have a feed for your online store, which will share your online inventory with Google Merchant Center, and then a separate feed for your real life brick and mortar store. If you use a platform like Shopify, Shopify will take care of that for you. But if you're working on building a feed yourself, you will need to do those separately. And hi to those that are just joining. I am joined today by 2 of my favorite people, Kirsten and Brie, and I'm Jyll, and we are talking about free Google tools. So please let us know if you have any questions, and we will answer them for you. I see one here. How do you check Google Analytics Merchant Center? Is it all linked up? Yes, you absolutely should connect Google Merchant Center to Google Analytics. You can also connect Google Merchant Center to your Google business profile, which I know we'll be hearing about. And then you'll want to connect Google Merchant Center to Google Ads if you would like to run ads. All right, I'm going to toss to Kirsten next to share one of her free Google tools. And then after that, Brie, well, I think we all know what you're going to share, but let's go to Kirsten. What would you like to talk about?
I think probably the Google Business Profile is the most underutilized tool for local businesses. I don't think that they realize just how many leads can come through that, or the amount of people that go now to Google Maps to be able to find a business that has what they're looking for. Like we've just so much has changed. And I went down the wormhole last night of products that Google offers for businesses to succeed and show up online. And holy hell, I got very excited, but there's so much. So it's not just Google Business Profile. They have the marketing kit. So it's the marketing kit
Mhm.
dot with google.com, and you can literally, so that's where you can claim and set up your business profile if you don't have one. You are able to have ads that post right from there. They take pictures you've posted already on your profile and make a beautiful ad that you just clicked a button to have happen. You can do posts where you're letting them make reservations or purchasing a product or just updating them on something. They can book an appointment with you. And like I have a restaurant um, that gets over 2 million views a month on their Google business profile.
And
Yeah.
that's completely free.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And from there, they're able to book a reservation to their, and this is a fine dining establishment. So it's not just fast food. That's where, especially restaurants or things of that sort, we go to the map and we look for what's around us.
I mean, if
So,
you think about like sorry to interject here, but
no,
let's just think about 2 million views, a 1% conversion rate on that, and it's fine dining. I mean, we're talking big money coming from Google My Business. That's awesome. That's great.
And I
yeah,
love as well, Kirsten, that you shared how a tool like the marketing kit with Google, which when I do videos about that, those are like my best videos ever. It's such a great tool that by having a Google business profile, it then unlocks other opportunities for you, like the marketing kit, or Google even has this free analyzer where it will analyze your business profile and then let you know other things you can do to improve it and get more views there. So I love
yeah.
that tip. And Kirsten, once people register for the business profile, which is a pretty simple process, what are two or three things that they should set up right away? Because I know there's so many things you could set up there. What's most important to set up right away?
So, of course, you're going to do your name, address, phone number. You want to get that in so that it's consistent across the board. Meaning, if you have an office phone number that you promote on your website and Facebook, that is the same phone number that needs to be your contact phone number on all of your other listings. Oh, you have to make sure across the board that they're not conflicting or confusing search engines, that which one is the correct information. But going a step further, just remember that anytime on the internet, we're in charge of creating the perception of us. So if there's something that's a misconception, make a frequently asked questions post or put in questions like, so part of the community can ask questions of, do you have parking, do you have reservations? You can do that for your own business and answer the questions because it lets you, draw attention to the things that you want people to know. If you are a realtor and you want people to choose you in this crazy market, you might want to post majorly closings you're having, because that gives
Mm.
the perception that you're moving, you're shaking, you have all of these closings. That's what you're going to do for other people. And if you go on to the marketing kit dot with google.com, they have a video that goes over all of, so that used to be like one of my secrets, They shared it with the world. I know. If you watch their market, I mean, why am I even here? I don't. I'll just go home. But everything that you need is in that kit. I think we just go so fast. We this day and age, we're rushing through, and we spread ourselves too thin and don't do any one. Focus on the one thing. It's worth it.
Absolutely. So we have covered Google Merchant Center, which is a free way to get your products on Google. And then Kirsten spoke about Google Business Profile, which is a free way to get your business on the map. She knows one business that's getting 2 million views a month from that. Next, I want to hand it over to Brie, who is our resident. Well, I'll let you tell us. What's your favorite free Google tool, Brie?
My favorite free Google tool is right now, it really is Google Analytics 4. I know a lot of people would fight me on that. I know, I know. So going from UA to Google Analytics 4, it is quite the change. But what people, I don't think Google Analytics 4, it really does look scary. I'm not going to lie to you. It looks scary because a developer definitely had a heyday with it. But the good thing about that is that it does come with so many functionalities that we wouldn't have gotten previously. And like, I mean, you think about analytics 10 years ago. To think that you would be getting predictive analytics for free, I mean, you used to have to pay hundreds of dollars for that every single month, not just once, but like every single month. So, you can do forecasting with it. It has anomaly detection built in. And the best part is you don't really have to do any of that because they have an entire insights dashboard that will say, hey, the majority of your conversions last week came from organic. And oh, by the way, did you know there's a huge spike of traffic from Fiverr.com, like maybe you had a backlink there or something, and all of a sudden it popped off last week. They will just tell you those things. So you don't even have to really dig into the platform. If you're like, I hate this, I never want to do it ever again, which some people are, they have so many built in tools now that will do so much of that work for you. Kind of like Kirsten was saying with like the marketing kit, right? They go and do things for you. Listen, I get it. It's Google's world. We're living in it, and sometimes that can be hard to adjust to, but they honestly have offered so much to us with all of these tools. But yeah, no, Google Analytics 4 right now is definitely my favorite free Google tool.
That's awesome. And to those who are just joining,
And
I'm
it
Jyll. Oh,
connects to both of those things. Sorry, I just remember this. And it connects to Merchant Center. Great. And I know
Mm-hmm.
we haven't talked about Search Console yet, but it does connect to Search
we're going to
Console as
get
well.
there. We're going to get there. To those that are just joining, I'm Jyll. I'm here with Brie and Kirsten, and we are talking about the best free Google tools for business owners. We talked about Google Merchant Center, getting your products on Google. We talked about Google Business Profile, getting your business on the map. And now Brie just shared Google Analytics, and specifically Google Analytics for the fancy new kind, which is how you can understand what's going on your website. And Brie gave a little sneak peek. I'll let either Brie or Kirsten talk about Google Search Console. Tell us a little more about that. Who wants to take that one?
I think I'll jump in.
Yeah, let the
um,
SEO expert jump in.
So Search Console was literally created to give people an insight into their website to be able to see how it's performing or not. And that was before we were really in the digital space that we are now. Now, as everything becomes far more intertwined and complex, integrated, so much more can affect your website, your income, your future. I mean, it's amazing what the internet brings us and opens us up to, but we are also at the mercy of it. Of that is our lifeline to the world, and there are certain elements that they're learning when they are integrated. It actually can hurt your SEO, or it brings down your website, and you won't know if you don't have these tools involved to be able to see kind of by trial and error. You can just go through and figure out at what point did you start having issues. Right now, in the last year and a half, we've been hit with Google update after Google update. Like they woke up and chose change. Um, in the last year. And so it's, we're all reeling from that right now. If you've noticed that your website tanked recently, I have one that their traffic has been cut in half. And because over the last year, even though they are top of the line technology, they had a developer that didn't value making the updates. With Google Search Console, it lets you see the changes. And if you don't know how to fix something, you can bang your head against the wall. But they do have a, what is it actually called? One moment. So on the Search Console at the bottom, they have a about Search Console and settings area that it goes into detail of how to do things, or you can hire somebody who knows what they're doing. But just real quick, can I flip this around? Oh, maybe that wouldn't be a good thing to try. I might hang up on myself. But there's a way that I'm putting a video out right after this, so go on my page and watch it. But if you go on Search Console, you're able to see what pages people are seeing. They have high impressions, but they have low clicks. So lots of people are seeing it, clicking on it. That means you're getting seen, but they don't like the way that you're showing up in the search results. Those are easy wins. You fix the metadata for that page, and it's not a long-term solution, but it will let you start getting more people on your site, hopefully getting sales while you are fixing any other errors or issues, design issues, so that your site as a whole is more inviting and draws people to that final sale point.
It's such a great
So
tip because
hopefully I didn't lose
SEO,
everyone. I
people
know
so
SEO
often.
is it's a tough one to make sexy, but it is so.
No, sorry, I just wanted to say I think that's such a great tip for SEO because so many people focus on like, my backlinks or like my technical SEO, my keywords. But something as simple as just looking at where you're getting impressions and not clicks and just updating the headline and description in your metadata is such an approachable and easy thing for a small business owner to do that can really have an impact in getting them more traffic. So thank you for sharing that.
Definitely. And a great way to get backlinks is great. People will want to share if you are creating things that are going to be of value to them. So that would be, if you're trying to do that yourself, just earn it. If you earn it, it takes you farther.
True, no shortcuts. Great content will
Yeah.
always win. For those who are just joining, we are talking about free Google tools to grow your business. I'm Jyll, and I'm here with Brie and Kirsten. We have talked about Google Merchant Center, Google Business Profile, Google Analytics, and Google Search Console. And if you're just joining now and want to catch up later, I'm going to post this live on my YouTube right after this, so stay tuned for that. I see we have some questions that have come in here. So if you have a question for any of us, we all have complimentary Google marketing expertise. Please drop it in the chat. And then we're going to go back now and look at some of the questions we missed while we were talking. So there was one back up here that I'm scrolling to. Let's see. What is the best new Google ad to show every place on Google Shopping, Images? Well, Google Ads, while not a free Google tool, is my bread and butter. And you're probably thinking of something called Performance Max. It's a brand new campaign type from Google that out of one campaign, you can show search, shopping, display, discovery, YouTube, everything all out of one campaign. There are a lot of benefits to it, but also some drawbacks to it as well. So I'd recommend checking out my Google Ads Expert Tips playlist on my profile because I have a handful of videos about Performance Max and what you should know. Thank you, Personalized Word Art. Showtel has a question. Any tips for advertising sensitive industries? Any tips for advertising sensitive industries? Anyone?
I guess it depends on what we're considering a sensitive a sensitive industry because I mean, it really depends, right? Like in some places, like cannabis is considered a sensitive industry. And if that's the case, you know, that's something that you really, okay, therapy. Well, that's a lot less sensitive than I was like,
I
never
was
mind. I
thinking
won't even,
adult things, so
I was thinking adult. I was thinking, yeah. No. Anyways, therapy. I would talk
I,
about the benefits. Yeah.
well,
yeah.
and like when you go to the gym, there's always like the vitamin store that's right next to the gym, or the stretch. Like there's certain things that are semi connect. Like you're not in the same industry necessarily, but you share the same audience. Be there.
Mm,
Or if when you say sensitive, you mean you're limited to where you can advertise content. It's you're either doing that yourself or you're finding a channel that can promote you, where you can be seen, but you're not an ad. So you have to get a little more creative, but we're in an age where people want real, and I think in the past it was bronze, and then it was brains, and now we're moving into a place of heart, where Brene Brown is our leader, and we're following her. When you show up in your marketing being authentic and owning what your product is, and owning the fact that your product isn't for that group, whoever that is, there's something very appealing, and it will work out. It's just putting yourself out there to be where they're going to be in a authentic manner. They'll come.
absolutely. Absolutely. We have a next question from Raman Joshua Verk. Hi, guys. How do you control search impression share on Google Ads, and what percentage would be ideal? It's a very specific Google Ads question. That is one of my favorite topics. I was just telling someone my two favorite metrics in Google Ads are search impression share and quality score, but I don't do videos about them because when I do, they don't get good engagement because most people find it boring. So thank you for asking this. My recommendation for search impression share without getting too boring is that I recommend your campaign has at least 10% impression share. If you're not sure why you're losing impression share, you want to add two columns. You want to add how much you're losing due to budget and how much you're losing due to rank. If you're losing more due to budget, add more budget, or lessen your targeting so you don't need more budget, like target a smaller geographic area or fewer keywords. If you're losing out due to rank, then that's because either your bids are too low or your quality score is too low. So check your quality score first. You can add those columns at the keyword level to see, and then if not, you may need to increase your bids. But like, I actually love that topic, so please book a session with me. We can talk all about search impression share for an hour. Showtell, so our friend who was asking about therapy had another question. How do I get reviews from people who don't want to share their engagement? This is for you, Kirsten. So people who've been to therapy don't want people to know they've been to therapy. Like, how can they go about getting reviews?
So that one, what I thought we were talking engagement. I guess it depends. You again have to get.
Mm.
I really like there's a couple of them now. There's one that's called Feedback, which it's like feedback but with a V in the front, and I'm guessing that V stands for video. That was very clever. So you put out a video, and the nice thing about it is you could do it on here or on YouTube, where it lets your audience finally speak to you because you've spoken to them for so long. In your case, it doesn't sound like that's a perfect fit, but there is also an organization called Video Ask, and you're able to use them to send out review requests that they can either do a video response back, or they can text, or they could do nothing. But you can also use their software to be able to send out in an email. You can have it be a chat or in place of a chat on your um, website. It's I don't have the answer for that. It would be trying what works, but sometimes we get in our head thinking that they wouldn't want to expose themselves, but that's you're you're limiting yourself. You're bringing your shit to the table. So,
Yeah. I'll say right here, publicly on TikTok, I've been to therapy on my own. I've been to therapy with my husband. I'm not secret about it. I think therapy should be mandatory for everybody. So you'd be surprised how many people are willing to be more open about that and how helpful you've been to them.
I always joke that I have the most expensive soul because it was just on point. But then I became a business owner and holy hell, all of the limiting beliefs that you didn't know were there were in for. Yeah, I will be going back to therapy at some point. But right now I just, it's in between God complex and imposter syndrome.
It's all the way one or all the way the other. All right, we have lots of questions. This is great. And if you do have a question, please drop in the chat. We are going to get through as many as we can today. So Personalized Word Art wants to know how to advertise their business where the site has to do all the work because it's like a personalized site, so it's hard to show. What I would suggest to you is a strategy that I did not come up with, but I can't remember where I found it. But on Facebook ads, you can target people who have a birthday coming up. And so a cool way to advertise your personalized stuff is like for people who have a birthday coming up in June, show them like a personalized product to do with like a June birthday or like being a Gemini. And then for people who have a birthday coming up in July, adapt it for July. And that's the way you can personalize it, but still at scale. So that is one idea I've seen before that you can do with Facebook ads, but not Google ads. That I think is really cool. On Google ads, you can advertise around life events. So you could advertise to people who are about to graduate college, something personalized, people who recently got engaged, something personalized, people who recently bought a house, something personalized, and do a similar strategy that way. So those would be my two advertising ideas for you. Okay, the question MZ. I think this is a question for Kirsten. How do I list my event on Google? I currently have our company's old event showing up.
I'm not understanding. I was thinking that it was event like Google Analytics for event. So I'm like, Brie, take it off.
Oh, I
Schema.
think like
I mean, there's event schema for that though.
or maybe a business profile event. Is that a thing? Putting an event on a
Oh,
Google business profile?
yeah, there's those too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
well then lots of different ways.
you can have information removed now, worst case, but I don't know exactly what was meant as far. I have questions.
Like a true marketer, right? We get asked questions. And we're like, well, it depends. Tell me more. So perhaps they'll tell us more. I'm going to keep going through. Stock Blocks wants to know, how do you sell on Google Marketplace? I believe you're referring to Google Merchant Center, which I spoke about earlier. And Google Merchant Center itself is not a place where you sell. You connect your store, your online store or your physical store to Google Merchant Center. Then you connect Google Merchant Center to your Google business profile, to Google Ads, you turn on free listings, and that's how you show your products across Google. Natura Designs UK wants to know, how can we drive traffic to our websites from social media? I do so much promotion and get nothing from it. So any tips on driving website traffic from social media?
I think
Oh,
the only thing when I sorry
no, go.
All yours.
no when I hear that I mean, listen, social media is hard for business. It is because algorithms are built for person to person connections. So if you treat your business as if like your business profile as if it was a business, you're going to have a hard time capturing people, bringing them in and wanting to go to your website. Um, I don't know if it was just coincidence, but you said, I do so much promotion and I don't get the traffic. I think the thing that we have to realize is people aren't on social media for us to promote to them. They're on social media to engage with us. So ask more questions, um, provide more value and make people want to engage with you and then go to your website or something of that nature. That's just, I mean, that was just right off the, just off that word promotion kind of made me think, well, anyways, that's what I got.
Yeah, that's a great point. I love even in templates now when you look at like web design ideas, instead of having a services page, there's a solutions page. Like they're positioned, mind blown, ingenious. Like I'm sure I knew that somewhere in me, but wow, that really, it's all how you position it. And social media, you are the generator. Anything like that, it's not, when you step away, it dies down and then you show up again and then it ramps up because it's all based on that connection that they feel with you and wanting to have more of that.
Absolutely. And to those just joining, I'm Jyll. I'm here with Brie and Kirsten. We are all marketing experts with our own respective specialties, and we're here answering your questions. If you want to catch the earlier part of this live, the whole recording will be on my YouTube channel later this afternoon, so you can check out what you missed there. I see a request to do a video on search impression share. Never heard of it till now. Okay, I'll do a video about search impression share and Google Ads, but if it flops, I'm blaming you for the half hour it's going to take me to do that. I'm just joking. Brett, hi, Brett wants to know, this is a Brie question. What are you guys doing about collecting first-party cookies? I believe he means first-party data because cookies are changing, and tips for collecting first-party data.
Yeah, I mean, technically, Google Analytics 4 is collecting your first-party data, right? It's data that is coming straight from your website. I mean, I don't know that people realize that like all Google Analytics does is like makes your log files pretty. That's really all it's doing. So the log files are essentially anytime somebody comes to your website, they get like a little file made and then they throw it into a filing cabinet, but the file's not actually very pretty. Like if we were to look at it, we'd be like, what is this garbly goop? It doesn't make any sense. And all Google does is make that pretty. And I will say that's kind of like Google Analytics 4 had to come out because with the current atmosphere like that we're living in with GDPR and CCPA and all the legislation coming out around privacy, Universal wasn't going to be sustainable. And then also, the changes like with iOS 14 and cookieless browsing, Google recognized the fact that, oh, if we keep doing things the way we were doing them previously, we're no longer going to be able to play in this space. So GA4 was built with all of that in mind. And what it does is, so the reason that we're seeing things like anomaly detection and predictive analytics and stuff is because Google really leaned on like their machine learning. So they do a lot of modeling, so they use all this like science stuff and equations, and then they say, okay, well, we couldn't necessarily collect Jill's session on our website because Jyll said, no thanks, don't track me, but we had 40 other people that looked just like Jyll come to the website, and this is what they did, so we can assume she's somewhere in between these things. So that's how GA4 is really like dealing with the whole fun stuff going on in our space right now. But I would say GA4, and it is free, right? I mean, that's the thing about these products that I don't know that people truly understand the magnitude of that, because there are other platforms out there that you can use to gather your first party data, but they're very expensive. And because they're very expensive, there's not as much help out there for it, right? So like if you have a problem with GA4, you can go to YouTube and find 100 videos about how to solve that problem because everybody has access to it. Whereas if you have an issue with Adobe Analytics, you're looking at far less, information out there. So anyways, that's what I would say about that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And I'm going to go through to a few just to make sure we have time to answer everyone's questions. So, Roger does finance. Wow, it's the trifecta of Google experts. Yes, if you're just joining, you have a Google Ads expert, a Google SEO expert, and a Google Analytics expert all here to answer your questions. Vicha 2000, do you suggest shopping ads in Google for an e-commerce business, or should we focus on SEO? Hey, Kirsten and I can duke it out. Well, my advice to you, and that I'd love to hear what Kirsten says, has to do with a video I just posted yesterday that unless your conversion rate times your average order value is at least $2, don't run ads. Focus on SEO instead. So that's what I would say. What do you think, Kirsten?
It really just depends on it depends, of course, on the niche, because there are some that it would be fairly easy to walk in and be noticed in the time that the SEO campaign is still needing to ramp up. There are other times I have an e-commerce business that is a collectible backpacks, the Lounge Fly. And that is, people are looking for a very specific SKU. Like it was very easy to optimize. I knew exactly what they were looking for, and within a month we had insane results. So I think typically the ads and SEO play very nicely.
I think it's also, oh,
Yep.
sorry. I'm very bad at waiting my turn. Clearly, I'm not good at this. I would say too, like it depends on like what your overall goal is. So if your overall goal is long-term growth and sustainability, personally speaking, I would say go the SEO route because you're gonna put in all of the work on the front end like of that, and then it's really from there it's just keeping up with the updates, which I make it sound like that's easy, it's really not. But it kind of, I mean, the majority of the work's done up front, and you reap the benefits forever and ever. Whereas ads, if you focus on really getting a good ad strategy, you have to keep the ads always on. So like Joe was saying, unless you can make the return on ad spend make sense, you really have to keep that in mind. But also, how fast are you needing results? SEO results can take a while to see. Ad results you can see a little faster. So it's usually a good mix of both, though. Both of these ladies should be able to help you out.
Yeah, the analogy I like to give is that, like, whether it's ads or it's SEO, you're looking for a place to live. It's a virtual place for your business, but it's a place to live. So ads is like renting. You just start paying your rent and you have somewhere to live. And as long as you keep paying rent, you can live there. And the moment you stop paying rent, you get evicted. Whereas with SEO, you start on day one with an empty plot of land and you have to make the blueprints, and then you have to start excavating and building, and then finally you have somewhere to live, and over time you renovate your house and make it bigger, and no matter what, that is yours. So different people, different strokes for different folks, and depending what's right for your business. But I see a follow-up question here from the same person, that if you are going to spend on shopping ads, what's a good ad budget? My normal advice is at least $20 a day for at least 30 days, but shopping ads are automated. You don't pick your keywords, and with automated campaign types, you generally need to spend more. So I would say if you're one of these businesses that only has one or two products, a handful of SKUs, and you're going local, not national, that maybe $30 a day is a starting point. But again, if you're going national, if you have multiple products, multiple product categories, multiply, multiply, multiply that.
Hey, Google
Yeah.
Pro, that says Hoffman Mitch. So I got Google certified because of this channel, and that would be you.
Yes, hi, nice to see you again. He was here on my last live, and I did tell him to get certified. And we have some kudos here to Brie for her advice earlier about social media and not just being our promotion, adding value. She says, or they say, yes, exactly, Brie. It just makes it pretty. We have to do all the, oh no, that was about Google Analytics. It just makes it all pretty, and we have to do all the work. It's such a great way to put it. Okay, to those who are just joining, we are your trio of Google marketing experts, and we are here to answer all your questions about growing your business online. We'll be here for another 5 to 7 minutes or so. So if you do have a question you want to ask, please make sure you drop it below. And also, I'm sure this won't be the last time we do this together because this is a lot of fun. Okay. A question from Personalized Word Art: is there an easy way to just do ads without having to learn everything? And actually, Natura Designs responded, I think it's pointless to do ads if you don't know anything about them. And I would kind of agree with that. You can outsource ads to an expert, but in order to get an expert who's going to know enough of what they're doing, it's going to take a lot of money to spend on ads and a lot of money to hire that expert. So that's why I do recommend business owners try to learn how to do this by yourself. And the free certifications that Hoffman Nish just took since our last live, the Google Ads certifications, are a great place to start. That is Google Skill Shop. It's completely free, and not to be confused with the Google Digital Marketing certificates on Coursera, which are not free.
Well, and there's applied digital skills with google.com in case you needed more.
There's Google Digital Garage. There's tons of them. Yeah. But Google Skill Shop is the Google Ads certifications. I actually just did my video certification today because I didn't realize it had lapsed. And I got really angry because I thought the questions were like out of date. But anyway, I passed. Yay. Oh, here's a good. Full Body Connection has a question. I have my business on Google, but it doesn't show up when I search it. Why?
I mean, what is the full body connection? I mean, your TikTok might show up. I'm not sure if that's you or not. I'm like trying to real-time research.
The real-time research.
So your TikTok shows up. I just Googled it and I'm now on your TikTok. Your link there is a link tree. So I mean, I could follow the yellow brick road home. And without digging into it, I mean, make sure that you're set up on Search Console. Make sure that you've done what you need to with submitting the sitemap, requesting an index on Search Console, and then if you're already doing content for TikTok, when something performs well, or if it's part of your branding that you want that message out there to be able to cultivate community, then put that on a page, create a blog with the video. There's scheme. We're not going to go down the road, but you can optimize video, you can optimize images, you can optimize on page, you can do great content. So then you're getting the linking off site. Like it's a lot of optimization. We optimize it. But all of that will help you get to where you're wanting to go. It's leaning more towards content and technical SEO more and more. There's no way around it. You got to pick poison, but one of the two, either one's hard.
Absolutely. I see a quick question here from Hoffman Mish, who's helping us answer the question, so thank you. What's your take on the AdWords Lite version from GMB, from Google My Business or Google Business Profile? I don't recommend it. If you're going to run Google Ads, do not run a smart campaign. That's what that will do. Run a proper Google Ads campaign. And I've done a few videos about that. I think we'll take one more question, then I'll be trying to wrap it up today. So we have a question. If we use Shopify, do we have to submit for Search Console, or is it automatic with Shopify?
I still go through, but it is the analytics part is hooked up with the Search Console. When I'm setting it up, I just have a checklist that my team and I do. We work down the list. But I think that you could get away with it just because but why not give yourself the extra?
It'll get done faster if you do it yourself.
Yeah, and it's really easy to verify Search Console when you set it up. I know even I was able to handle that for myself. I see a comment here from Full Body Connection. I wanted to see you guys live, and the fact you answered my question is so helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. I'm Jill. I'm here with Brie and Kirsten. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you and help you grow your business. If you want to catch the rest of this live, it'll be on my YouTube channel, and we can't wait to see you all again soon. Thank you so much.
Bye.